Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about going sober in your 20s. This is something that's happened quite gradually for me, but I feel like it's becoming more common in my sort of age group. So hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe and let's get started. So my drink of choice this evening is a glass of water. I feel like I'm not very adventurous with my drinks now. So let's talk about why I've gone sober. If you've watched me for a while, you'll know I've spoken about alcohol consumption not a lot, but like I've done probably 3 videos about it before, sort of drinking culture at university in the UK, my experiences drinking since COVID, that sort of thing. I feel a bit nervous. I've not really filmed like a talking video in a while. But yeah, I just wanted to share my experience. Oh, sorry, this dog's gonna be very annoying. Should I give you something to eat? Shit me. Okay, so I'm going to talk about when I first went sober. I have made a few notes, but I don't want this to be like over the top. And I also just want to put a disclaimer. I've never had any issues with like addiction or anything like that. I will touch on mental health, but yeah, I've never been in like rehab or like had any sort of problems with alcohol, if that makes sense. It's just a personal choice I've made. I have nothing against people who do drink alcohol and enjoy alcohol. Like you do what makes you happy. But yeah, I probably will put like a couple of links below if you are struggling with that sort of thing. But this is just my personal experience, and feel free to share your experiences in the comments below. I'll be really interested to hear. So, the first note I've put down is why I went sober. So as I said, this has been something I've thought about probably for the past year. And so for my background, like I've never been a huge drinker. I guess I started drinking when I was about 16, I want to say. I think the first time I got drunk was at a house party after my year 11 prom, so I would have been 16. But I didn't really drink regularly after that. Again, sort of when I was 16, 17, it's quite common, as I said, in the UK, a lot of people or teenagers have like house parties because you can't obviously go out to buy alcohol until you're 18. And sort of where I'm from as well, I live in the countryside, so it's not as easy to go out to bars and stuff. So a lot of people having house parties in their sort of later teenage years. So I went to those and enjoyed those. Like I enjoyed being drunk and stuff. Again, when you go to university, you're living in a city, it's really easy to go out and sort of fall into that kind of binge drinking culture, which I did. I really enjoyed it at the time. No regrets at all. But yeah, sort of since COVID, I've really like slowly started to drink less. I think I just realised I was using alcohol to feel more confident in myself, and I was probably just drinking because my friends were doing it. It wasn't necessarily something I really enjoyed doing like a lot of. So yeah, I went sober this year. The last time I had a drink was the 15th of August, I want to say. And I didn't even drink that much. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 drinks in the pub. And what I've noticed, especially since hitting my 20s, I sound like I'm really old, but I know I'm not, but I'm 24 by the way. So when I kind of hit my mid-20s, I just realised, like, even when I was only having a couple of drinks, the next day I would just feel really low. Like, I'm not someone who would get anxiety. I think because I would never drink that much where I'd black out or anything, I could always remember what I did the night before and stuff. So I never had anxiety, but it was always just a really low mood, and I just felt really groggy because whenever I drink anything, I just don't really sleep. And as I said, I think because as I've got older, I'm drinking less. So when I do drink, I feel the effects of it more. And as I said, I went out for drinks with my family, really low key. We literally just went for a dog walk, went to a country pub, had a bit to eat. And again, just that night, it was Sunday night, I didn't really sleep. And like even sort of when I was drinking, I could just feel like the sort of loss of control a little bit in my mind. And as someone who's really struggled with my mental health this year, you can watch my last video about that. I just thought I don't really enjoy not knowing how I'm feeling, if that makes sense. So I kind of thought, right, let's just try for a month, like not drinking anything. And also back in the summer, I went to the pub with my friends again. I didn't really drink a lot, but the next day I had such an awful like anxiety attack, which I've never really had from drinking before. I mean, obviously there was other things going on as well, but I think the alcohol just made that so much worse. So mid-August was the last time I had a drink, and I think I said to myself, my mum, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna cut out alcohol for a little bit whilst I'm trying to like figure some things out in my brain. And I just want to see if I notice a difference. And yeah, I've not really drunk since then. As I said, it's definitely been a gradual process, especially over the past year or so. And I think since my breakup, I've not really been drinking that much. Again, just because I know alcohol is naturally like a depressant and I don't want to feel any more sad. I mean, I feel pretty good in myself now. It's been 5 months, so I'm definitely like healing. But I just thought, let's cut out the alcohol and see what happens. So yeah, I'm going to share more experiences now. So the next point I've put is, how am I finding it? What do I miss? So I am finding it, do you know what? I'm finding it okay. As I said, like, I was only really a social drinker anyway, and I'm quite lucky, or maybe not lucky is the right word, but my friends aren't massive drinkers either. So it's not like I was someone who's going clubbing every weekend and just cut that out completely. Like, I wasn't really like that. So I sort of did my clubbing days back at university, and now living at home with my mum, my life is not like that anymore. I've not really made massive sacrifices in my social life at all. And even before I went sober, a few of my friends didn't drink alcohol anyway, and maybe I felt a bit kind of influenced by them as well. I've always been a person, I would rather go out and do something like a whole day than do a night out anywhere. I'm quite a home bird as well. Overall, like, I'm not finding it a massive change to my life. Obviously there's certain times, as I said, I've been to a couple of parties and I've been clubbing completely sober, which I will touch on later in the video. But overall, like, I'm finding it okay. And I said, I do just love having a sense of control, and like the fact I do sleep well after a night out now, or like after a day where I would have been drinking, and I wake up feeling so much better in the morning. Some other reasons why I sort of went sober is I follow quite a lot of sober creators online. So Steph Ellswood, Millie Gooch, who's also like in charge of the Sober Girl Society, Meg Says, Millie McIntosh and Hayley Madigan. They're like 5 influencers I really like, and they're all sober, so maybe that kind of subconsciously influenced me as well. Sort of seeing their journeys, and they sort of provide advice on like going sober and things. I thought, let's just try it out. I said, you can always go back and have a drink if you want to. It's not like a life or death decision. Those are sort of 5 key people in my sort of sober journey. But what do I miss? I do miss a glass of wine. I think out of all the alcohol I used to drink, wine was definitely my favourite drink. I loved a glass of Prosecco, like white wine and rosé are like my 2 favourites. So I do miss just like a couple of glasses of wine of an evening. But as I said, I was just getting to the point where I'd drink a couple of glasses and just feel really like sad the next day. That's one of the main reasons why I cut it out. I'm yet to find a nice like alcohol-free wine. No Secco is really nice. I can't really taste the difference with that. I've not really explored many non-alcoholic options. I think something else which has been quite big in this journey, and sort of a good kind, not an excuse, but a good reason to not drink, is obviously I passed my driving test this year. So like tonight, I'm giving my mum lifts back and forth to like a dinner party. So I've always been the sort of person, if I'm driving, I just don't want to drink anything, because I was a bit of a lightweight anyway. I think driving has been quite a good thing in that sense. So if people ask, oh, why are you not drinking? If you say you're driving, they don't really ask any more questions. But I'll move on to that in the next bit. So the next thing I've put is partying and clubbing. So as I mentioned, I've been to a few sort of family parties, and I've been clubbing once since being completely sober. So the first party I went to was in August, so it was quite soon after I made that decision to go completely alcohol free. And so it was a family party, and I'd mentioned to my mum, like, I'm not drinking, and so she said, oh, can you drive? And I said, yeah, that's fine. And I'm still on a journey with my driving anxiety. I hope to do like an updated video on that one day where I feel more confident. I think I've like merged confident and comfortable in the same word. Yeah, so I definitely will do a driving update, because I've been driving nearly 6 months now. Wow. So as I said, this drive, it wasn't a drive I was very comfortable with. But the party I was going to, I said it was really good that it was like people I've known like my whole life. Some of these people I hadn't seen in over a year, because I think when I did my anxiety video last year, that was the party I didn't go to because I was so anxious. So I think it was I was really proud of myself for actually going to this party when I hadn't seen all these people like in so long. And I think I remember saying to my therapist actually, I said one of the main things I was worried about with going sober is people asking questions and like just not being as confident in social situations. She goes, you might be a little bit more awkward at first or a little bit more nervous, but at least those interactions you have will be more authentic to you. And that really stuck with me as to like sort of why I wanted to go sober, because I do want to become more confident in myself. But yeah, so I went to this family party, and again, I think when you go sober, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I think my main sort of anxiety was like, what are people gonna like think, or like what they're gonna ask. And to be fair, I think in the first hour people might be like, oh, like why are you not drinking? And again, because I was saying, oh, I'm driving, people are like, cool, whatever. But literally I think after the first hour people don't really care. Like people aren't looking at what drink you've got in your hand, or as they might ask the like one question and it's like honestly fine. But yeah, it was so nice. We came home from that party about 1 a.m. Did a nighttime drive, which I love driving at night. And yeah, the next morning I woke up, like went to the dog for a walk. I didn't feel mega tired, because I think as well, when you work full time, if you go out on a Saturday night and you drink and you're really hungover the Sunday, you still feel like awful on the Monday as well. I think just as you get older, you just can't really drink as much alcohol as you used to. I don't know, that was my experience anyway. And yes, I also went clubbing for the first time sober. Again, I think in that situation, it was a club I've been to before, and I went with a friend I really trust, and I was just very like comfortable in the situation anyway. And as I said, it was getting to the point when I was going to parties, clubs, where before I went sober, I was only having a couple of drinks anyway, so I didn't have to be like completely drunk to go. And yeah, literally I went clubbing and it was absolutely fine. I said I didn't feel nervous going. I really enjoyed myself dancing around. Again, I was only with one friend. He knows I've gone sober. So he didn't really ask any questions. I said he said I had a drink. Didn't really bother. I said it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable if my friends are drinking and I'm not. Yeah, and I said it was a really fun night. I mean, I did bump into someone related to my ex-boyfriend. So that was what made me more anxious rather than not being drunk. But yeah, apart from that, the night was absolutely fine and I did enjoy myself. And then the next point I put is like friends and family reactions. Again, my friends have been really supportive. I think if you've got good friends in your life, they'll support you in whatever you do and they just want you to be happy. A lot of them say like, we don't really mind if you drink or not drink. I think most people know me being fairly sober anyway, so it's not really a huge difference to them if I don't drink. As I said, I've got friends who didn't drink before either, so they've like been really helpful in my journey. Because I think the next thing I'm like a little bit nervous about is when I feel ready to go dating again. All my first dates have been like alcohol related. Like I've always gone to a pub or gone to a bar because I was like, oh my god, I can't like go on a date with someone I don't know without a drink. So as I said, I was saying to my therapist like, oh god, I don't know what I would do in that situation. But she said like when you have those interactions, they'll be more authentic because you're being you, not being like drunk or tipsy, which I think is so true. So yeah, obviously I will cross that bridge when I come to it. Not ready to be on the dating scene at all. I'm enjoying my single life. But yeah, that is definitely something I am more aware of now. But yeah, my family, again, I think because I've been driving every time I've seen them, they've not really sort of minded that I don't drink. And even like my nan's not a big drinker, so she didn't really mind. Sort of my parents were quite curious as to why I made that sort of decision in my mid-20s. But again, they're both supportive, and I think they both know that alcohol doesn't really affect me well anyway. And again, when I went to another party, it was like a family. It was one of my best friends, her mum, it was like her birthday party. I think literally one person, they're like, oh, why are you not drinking? And I just said, oh, I've got something to do tomorrow, or I just don't really fancy alcohol. And that was literally it. No more questions were asked. So yeah, it's really not as like daunting as you think. As I said, I think if you're someone who didn't drink much before anyway, it's not a huge adjustment. I think maybe if I went sober at university, it would have been a different story. But as I said, because I'm like nearly in my mid-20s now, I'm not in that partying clubbing scene. It is a different kind of ball game. But overall, I'm glad I've gone sober. As I said, I do have to sort of cope with more situations with a bit more anxiety because I've not got that like emotional crutch. But I'm definitely getting there. And I said I don't really miss being drunk, to be honest. I miss a glass of wine, but like I don't miss the like grogginess and like being sad the next day. But yeah, if you want any advice on like how to be sober or how to handle situations sober, please let me know. I can do another sober video. Obviously I've not been on this channel in a couple of months, and that's because I've changed jobs and I work 5 days a week now, so it's really rare I get nights like this where I'm alone and I can film. But whenever I can, I will try and film something because I do really miss it. But I hope you're all well, and also thank you for subscribing. I've got a couple new subscribers this week. I'm not sure where you're coming from, and I've not uploaded in 2 months, but yeah, thank you very much. If you do want to see more of my life, please follow me on TikTok and Instagram. That's where I post kind of daily. So yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this video. Thank you very much, and yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings on being sober in your 20s.